Hong Kong shares extend losses with Hang Seng Index slipping below the 27,000 level. China ushers in its largest annual population migration 15 days ahead of the Lunar New Year. And Volodymyr Zelensky says peace talks return this week, but Russian attacks continue. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Hong Kong stocks slipped sharply at the start of the week, with the Hang Seng Index sliding more than 2%. The jitters were sent by precious metal and tech stock rout, which also jolted Asia-Pacific markets. Hong Kong's benchmark Hang Seng Index, weighed down by broad risk-off sentiment among investors, dipped below the 27,000 level, rattling the market where gold-related shares alongside tumbling prices of precious metals. Gold ETFs fell by more than 10%. Tech shares including Baidu, Kuaishou, and Alibaba continued their pullback, all dropping more than 3%. The Hang Seng Index has fallen for 2 consecutive sessions, shedding more than 1,200 points from its recent peak. It closed the day 611 points lower at 26,775. Stay tuned to the financial report after our news at 7:30 for more details. China's 40-day spring travel season has officially begun. Authorities expect 9.5 billion passenger trips across the country, the number poised to mark a record high. Many travelers are choosing to set off earlier to avoid peak congestion, either returning to their hometowns or heading out on holiday in advance. Thronging Beijing West Railway Station early in the morning were crowds of luggage-hauling travelers. Many queued at the gates to enter the station. This traveler from Gansu says he's going back to his hometown for the Lunar New Year and heading back after the holidays. Others were departing the capital for leisure travel. This woman says she was taking advantage of her child's school break to travel for 15 days. During the Spring Festival travel rush, railway passenger volume is expected to reach 540 million trips. China Railway has rolled out a raft of measures to ease pressure, including additional services. The railway group spokesperson says there are around 1,000 additional overnight high-speed rail trains nationwide. Tickets for these extra services will be up for grabs 5 days before departure. Capacity will be allocated flexibly along routes to meet both long and short-haul travel needs. High-speed rail services are also offering luggage consignment to accommodate passengers traveling with more baggage. Also packed with travelers was Guangzhou Baiyun Airport. Adding to the festive cheer, security staff dressed in traditional Hanfu costumes, with ethnic dance performances staged. This Guangzhou resident says she booked her flight well in advance and she's bringing her elderly relatives and children to Beijing for sightseeing. This woman from Chengdu says airfares were generally reasonable, noting that prices rise the later tickets are purchased. This year's Spring Festival air passenger traffic is expected to reach 95 million trips, which will be a record high, with airlines handling nearly 20,000 flights per day on average. Here in Hong Kong, similar sights of bustling crowds at the West Kowloon high-speed rail station. Some citizens have begun returning to their hometowns on the mainland ahead of the Lunar New Year, while others came to buy tickets for the Spring Festival holiday. With 2 weeks to go before the Chinese New Year, travelers could already be seen at the West Kowloon high-speed rail station, with some opting to head home ahead of the peak period. This passenger says she had not returned home for several years, so she would stay longer up north this time. As tickets for the Lunar New Year's Eve went on sale, queues could be seen at both self-service and manual ticket offices. Many say tickets were very hard to come by online, prompting them to try their luck at the station. This woman says she arrived as early as 6:30 this morning, even though ticket sales only began at 10:15 a.m., meaning a wait of around 4 hours. This man says it was virtually impossible to get tickets on his phone, and he was still locked into the online queue system while waiting at the station. Mainland authorities noted earlier that both online and in-person ticketing channels help cater to passengers using different purchasing methods. Ticket release times also vary between stations. The MTR Corporation has arranged for passengers departing from Hong Kong and the mainland to line up separately. This woman says it takes almost an hour to queue. It was a bit tough, but luckily she was able to secure a ticket. Another passenger suggested issuing queue tickets instead of requiring people to line up physically. She also described the awkwardness of having to apologize to people behind her just to leave the line briefly to use the toilet. A Russian drone strike on the Ukrainian city of Dnipro hit a bus carrying mine workers and killed at least 15 people. Hours earlier, a Russian strike hit a maternity hospital in southern Ukraine on Sunday, injuring 6 people. The attacks come after Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky announced the next round of peace talks between Russian and Ukrainian delegations will take place on Wednesday and Thursday. Danny Rao tells us more.
Ukrainian emergency services said a Russian drone strike on the Ukrainian city of Dnipro hit a bus carrying mine workers and killed 15 people on Sunday. The strike injured a further 7 people and sparked a fire that was subsequently put out. DTEK, Ukraine's largest private energy company, said it owned the bus and accused Russia of carrying out a large-scale terrorist attack on DTEK mines in the Dnipropetrovsk region, whose capital is Dnipro. The company said the epicenter of one of the attacks was a company bus transporting miners from the enterprise after a shift in the Dnipropetrovsk region. Hours earlier, a Russian strike hit a maternity hospital in southern Ukraine, injuring 6 people. The Zaporizhzhia administration said the hospital was hit around midday, causing damage to the building. The strike sparked a fire in the gynecology reception area that was later extinguished. According to the Ukrainian State Emergency Service, the attack also damaged homes in Zaporizhzhia, injuring 3 people. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky confirmed trilateral talks between Ukraine, the United States and Russia will take place on Wednesday and Thursday in the United Arab Emirates. Zelensky said he had scheduled a meeting to agree on the framework of the conversation and prepare everything. Zelensky added the team would be on their way to the Emirates on Monday evening.
The eldest son of Norway's crown princess will go on trial this week on multiple charges, including rape. The high-profile case has been an embarrassment for the royal family. This as it was recently revealed in the Epstein files that the crown princess had a long-standing association with American sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Tracy Furness has more.
Marius Borg Herbe, the eldest son of Norway's Crown Princess Mette-Marit, is facing the Oslo District Court Tuesday after being indicted in August following a lengthy investigation. The indictment includes 38 counts, among them rape, abuse in a close relationship against one former partner, acts of violence against another, and transporting 3.5 kilos of marijuana. Herbe has denied all charges of sexual abuse. Other charges include making death threats and traffic violations. Prosecutors have said the 29-year-old could face up to 10 years in prison if convicted at the trial, which is expected to last until mid-March.
This has been like a shocking 1.5 years for the Norwegian people, because we really love our royal family. We respect them, and we look at King Harold as like our grandfather. We will see the consequences in the future, but for now, polls shows that we still believe in King Harold and Queen Sonja, and we feel we are compassionate also for what the royal family are going through.
Herbe is the son of Crown Princess Mette-Marit from a previous relationship and stepson to the heir to the throne, Crown Prince Haakon. He has no royal titles or official duties. He has been under scrutiny since he was repeatedly arrested in 2024 on various allegations of wrongdoing. He has remained free pending trial. In a rare statement, Haakon said that he and Mette-Marit do not plan to be in the courtroom for the trial and that Royal House does not intend to comment during the proceedings. Mette-Marit has also been linked with Jeffrey Epstein, her name appearing reportedly over 1,000 times in the Epstein files, having first met him in 2011 and remaining in contact with him for several years. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
And still ahead, Gaza's Rafah crossing sees limited reopening. Monetary Authority aims to issue stablecoin licenses by March. And shopping malls welcome Lunar New Year shoppers with eye-catching installations. Welcome back. Gaza's Rafah border crossing with Egypt reopened on Monday for limited traffic, a key step as the Israeli-Hamas ceasefire moves ahead, according to Egyptian and Israeli security officials. An Egyptian official said 50 Palestinians would cross in each direction on the first day of the crossing's operation. Meanwhile, 8 countries have condemned Israel for its repeated ceasefire violations in Gaza. On Monday, a 3-year-old boy was killed in Khan Yunis. Nasir Karim with more.
More than 20,000 Palestinians in Gaza are in need of medical treatment, only available outside the Strip. Displaced Hani al-Masri says his mother and father are among the many who are ill and need the Rafah crossing into Egypt to open. 2 years of war has almost completely destroyed the medical infrastructure in Gaza. Before the war, the Rafah crossing was the only way for most Palestinians in Gaza to reach the outside world, serving also as an entry point for daily supplies. After Israel shut the crossing in May 2024, it finally opened on Monday as part of the US brokered ceasefire deal. A list of people wanting to leave or enter via Rafah must be drawn up and approved by Israel and then undergo strict checks at the border. Eventually, around 200 a day are expected to leave, while around 50 can enter the Strip, all by foot. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu earlier said they would not prevent Palestinians from leaving. In line with people movement is an increase in aid trucks expected to cross into Gaza from Egypt. Trucks full of aid supplies and blankets entered Egypt's Rafah gate, heading to Kerem Shalom crossing for Israeli inspection. The crossing was busy with activity, with Israel saying it has opened in a test. The Coordination of Government Activities in the Territories, or COGAT, the Israeli military agency that controls aid to Gaza, said in a statement that the crossing was actively being prepared for fuller operations. Meanwhile, the foreign ministers of 8 countries have strongly condemned Israel's repeated violations of the ceasefire. At least 32 Palestinians were killed in a series of Israeli airstrikes on Friday and Saturday, with attacks targeting the police station, residential apartments and displacement tents. United Arab Emirates, Turkey, Egypt, Jordan, Indonesia, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia and Qatar said in the joint statement that Israel's actions risk escalating tensions and undermining efforts aimed at restoring stability. Nazri Karim, TVB News.
Top U.S. and Israeli generals held talks at the Pentagon amid soaring tensions with Iran, according to Reuters, citing sources. U.S. President Donald Trump has sent an armada to the region in preparation for a possible attack on Iran because of its suspected nuclear program and Tehran's crackdown on riots last month. Trump, meanwhile, reacted to a comment by Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei that any attack would trigger a regional war, saying he hopes they can make a deal.
Why wouldn't he say that? Of course he can say that, but we have the biggest, most powerful ships in the world over there, very close. Couple of days, and hopefully we'll make a deal. If we don't make a deal, then we'll find out whether or not he was right.
Vote counting and celebrations began after polls closed in Costa Rica's presidential election on Sunday. Preliminary and partial results showed conservative populist Laura Fernandez, the successor of President Rodrigo Chavez, was likely to win. With votes from 88.4% of polling places tallied, Fernandez had 48.5% of the vote. Her closest challenger was economist Alvaro Ramos of the National Liberation Party with 33.3%. Ramos conceded Sunday night and pledged to lead a constructive opposition. The Hong Kong Exchange Fund posted its highest ever income of $331 billion last year, while some lawmakers suggested increasing the payout to the public coffers. The Hong Kong Monetary Authority said the financial secretary determines the amount based on maintaining monetary stability. Separately, HKMA will grant the city's first batch of stablecoin issuer licenses in March. Samantha Lee reports.
The city's exchange fund earned $331 billion last year, the highest since the HKMA was set up in 1993. It contributes $16.5 billion to the government fiscal reserves, up $3.3 billion from 2024. During a LegCo meeting, some legislators questioned if the payout could be raised to fund the government's capital account.
The government still needs to issue bonds to build infrastructure. There is cost to issuing bonds. There is also interest rate. Will the HKMA take this into consideration? Will some more returns go back to the public coffers from the exchange fund so as to lower the cost for taxpayers? There is a standing mechanism in place we look at the investment return over the past 6 years to distribute the return, or we use the exchange fund bill over the past 3 years to determine the amount of money that should be distributed to the public office. Should there be more income going back to the public office, it is decided by the financial secretary. But this has to be done under the premise that it will not affect the current stability of Hong Kong.
The panel discussion also covered regulations on cryptocurrencies. Since introducing a stablecoin regulatory framework last year, the HKMA has received 36 license applications. Having completed an initial review, the regulator is requesting supplementary information from candidates to finalize the assessment.
我哋都爭取希望可以喺3月裏邊呢。
You stated that while the HKMA aims to issue the first batch of licenses by March, the priority remains prudence over speed. Speaking of Beijing's strict stance on stablecoin, you noted that any licensed institution engaging in cross-border business must adhere to local rules. Addressing HSBC widespread system outage on Friday, Yu believes it was caused by an internal system problem instead of a cyber attack. The HKMA had instructed HSBC to conduct a review and implement measures to prevent similar incidents. Samantha Lee, TVB News.
Police have arrested 682 people over the past 3 weeks in connection with 580 fraud and tech-related crime cases. Altogether, the cases involve a total of $620 million. Among the evidence seized are cash and luxury watches. Those arrested are aged between 14 and 89. One case involves a family-run online romance scam group, also linked to a money laundering syndicate. They allegedly rented industrial units as scam centers and private residential flats as cash vaults. Over the past 16 months, they operated through various dating apps, using fake profile photos and posing as young local women to carry out the scams. A total of 314 were defrauded, with losses amounting to $44 million, averaging $150,000 per victim. Police also revealed that in the first 11 months of last year, more than 39,000 fraud cases were recorded, accounting for 48.3% of all crime, down 2.4 percentage points year-on-year. A mainland student was sentenced to 3 months in jail for using forged TOEFL scores to graduate from Lingnan University. Back in 2023, the final year student needed a TOEFL score of 87 or an IELTS score of 6.5 to graduate. After failing 4 times, she traveled to Cambodia to hire a proxy to take the test for her. The scam was uncovered by the university when staff noticed the photo on her score report did not match with her face. The defendant pleaded guilty to obtaining services by deception. The court described the act as serious as money laundering. This follows a similar case where another male student from the same college was imprisoned for 3 months. The Office of the Commissioner of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs held a briefing today, ready to help more young legal professionals gain international experience. The event saw some 100 attendees, including law students and young solicitors. Since 2015, the program has sent more than 10 people yearly to global organizations such as the United Nations. Secretary for Justice Paul Lam announced that participants this year will have chances to work in the International Organization for Mediation, which was newly set up in Hong Kong. Many Hong Kong shopping malls have already installed Chinese New Year decorations to welcome the festival, which falls in mid-February this year. Min Won-Seng-Ai reports.
Chinese New Year is around the corner, with horses being the main characters of the New Year. This Tai Kok Tsui shopping mall displays decoration that incorporates the animal and Chinese ink painting. Painted by Xu Beihong, known as a pioneer of modern Chinese painting, the artwork, 6 galloping horses, portrays the animal charging across open plains. The mall said that it had allocated $10 million to the Chinese New Year decorations. Through the Year of the Horse decorations, the mall hopes to showcase the traditional side of the Chinese culture to visitors amid the festival.
We are trying to bring this very conventional element and add into the digitalized element to present to our customers. Hong Kong is an international art hub. The ink painting itself is very conventional. Like tourists, they come to Hong Kong because they think that we are different.
The mall added that it expects about 10% growth in profit over the Chinese New Year period. Meanwhile, some malls in Hong Kong opt for a cartoon type of installation, such as this bunny character IP. The Cheung Kwan O Mall said its target customers are local families and young people. Its manager said IP characters can attract customers to visit the venue for pictures because of their popularity. Number 9, TVB News.
And that's the news. Thank you for watching.